Good morning, Morgan, and good morning to any of your friends that have joined us for this video today. Now, in the next series, this next chunk of videos, the next 6 or 8 videos, are about error handling in your code, there's the errors and the exceptions. And the errors are syntax errors. And what does that mean? That means the computer, or I should say the compiler, takes what you write and it converts it into binary. Remember I was talking about hexadecimal and decimal? All right. And it expects everything to be in a certain order or syntax, okay, or certain structure. And when it doesn't find what it's expecting, it throws in an error. And in the other last video's example, there was a colon missing. And that's all it is, okay? And back in the day, before they had these sophisticated editors, I can remember spending a whole day trying to figure out that one period was in the wrong spot, okay? Or this is a little trick that the programmers used to do back in the old days, because we're passive aggressives. They'd go into somebody's code and they'd change replace an O with a 0. Okay, and the frickin' program wouldn't frickin' run, and you're like, what's going on? Okay, and you can only pull that trick on somebody once. Okay, anyway, in today's video, we're going to be talking about exceptions. Now, what's the difference between an error and an exception? In an exception, it's written exactly like it's supposed to be, and the compiler can compile it into something that the machine can read, but when it tries to execute the program, it blows up because there's a problem with the data that's in one of these variables, okay? Like, for instance, in this case, you can't divide by 0, so it blows up, bank, all right? In this case, you didn't define spam, the file, the variable spam. So it's like, what is it? Is it an integer? Is it a string? We don't know. Boom, name error, right? Not defined. In this case, because we put the 2 within quotes, now it's a string instead of an integer, and you can't add strings and integers. You have to convert them before you can do that. Okay. Now, how many different types of exceptions can you have? Well, this wasn't in the manual, but I went ahead and added it in. This is kind of a hierarchy tree of all the different errors you can have. And I went ahead and I highlighted in yellow the errors that we're talking about. Okay, so here's the exceptions. Okay, and like, for instance, you see like the 0 division error was an arithmetic error. Okay, you see how that works? Name error. I guess you can also have something called an unbound local error. All right, and to get more information on exactly what these things are, you're just going to have to dig in the manual to get more information on that. And you can also create your own exceptions as a way of weeding out data that you don't want contaminating your data. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and let's get this reading taken care of. And then that'll be it for today's video, because there's really no code to run here. All right, let's go. Come on. Let's do it again.
Python Training Video 49. Exceptions. Even if a statement or expression is syntactically correct, it may cause an error when an attempt is made to execute it. Errors detected during execution are called exceptions and are not unconditional.
Execution. See, remember what I was telling about how it passed the syntax test. Now it's actually trying to run the code, and it's blowing up because there's a problem with the data in the variables.
Fatal. You will soon learn how to handle them in Python programs. Most exceptions are not handled by programs, however, and result in error messages as shown here. 10.
All right, and we've already walked through these errors. Okay, so let's go ahead and skip ahead.
The last line of the error message indicates what happened. Exceptions come in different types, and the type is printed as part of the message. The types in the example are zero division error, name error, and type error. The string printed as the exception type is the name of the built-in exception that occurred. This is true for all built-in exceptions, but need not be true for user-defined exceptions, although it is a useful convention. Standard exception names are built-in identifiers, not reserved keywords.
And we will learn how to create our own exceptions later.
The rest of the line provides detail based on the type of exception and what caused it. The preceding part of the error message shows the context where the exception occurred, in the form of a stack traceback. In general, it contains a stack traceback listing source lines. However, it will not display lines read from standard input. Built-in exceptions lists the built-in exceptions and their meanings.
All right. Okay, there's the hierarchy structure. All right, let's look at this thing. It tells us the error. Gives us a little brief statement on what it might be. And then here it gives us the line of code that's causing the problem. Okay? All right, and then from that information, you have to freaking figure out how to fix it. All right? All right. All right, with that, try to behave, try not to get in any trouble, and we'll see you in the next video.